Hey.
You have some,
Okay, good. I'm muted. I don't understand why I'm muted.
So that we don't hear your personal conversation, ma'am.
I'm not having a personal conversation. Okay.
But that's the only reason. You want me to just have Mr. Kelly start? Mr. Kelly, can we go on the record, sir?
Yes, we are on the record now. Thank
Sir, I have to read the following cases in as moot complied. First one being MI 2025-000-920, 664 North 37th Street, Lois Berry is the appellant. Next one being MI 2025-000-922, 2425 North Opal Street, Ellie Adrian was the appellant. Next item is MI 2025-000-933, 1516 Snyder Avenue. The last name is Motemavalian. The next item, sir, is MI 2025-000-934, 1422 West Hunting Park Avenue, Sylvia McFarland. The last moot complied item, sir, is MI 2025-000-935, 1029 North Oriana Street. Sandra Tarkov was the appellant.
You read them into the record?
Yes, sir.
We're in agreement with it, myself, Aim, Ted. Okay, we're okay with it.
Thank you, sir.
All right, first case,
That's this hearing appeal ending 5997 for the property located at 2912 South 13th Street, Richard DeMarco Esquire and Lorraine Velasco and Joseph Dupol.
okay. Are those people here?
Ms. Vasquez is here.
Okay.
I'm
Ms.
here.
Okay, is Richard DeMarco here?
Yep, I'm here.
Okay, so you're a lawyer, you don't have to be sworn in, all right?
Okay.
The next one, Valesco, are you here? Okay,
He's
are
here.
you going to be testifying?
Yes, yes.
Okay, could you please raise your right hand, swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth? Okay,
You have her muted.
yeah, I seen her, I read her lips, she said I do. I said, okay.
And Lewis may also, we may ask Lewis to speak if he can be sworn as well.
Okay, is Lewis here? Okay, Lewis, could you please raise your right hand, swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth? He's on mute too.
Yeah, I sent him a prompt.
Okay. All right, Lewis,
Yes, sir.
good pal. How about Joe? Is Joe here?
Joe is deceased.
Oh, I'm sorry, because they said that he was there. All right, so we'll get started. Tom, could you please raise your right hand, swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth?
yes,
I didn't hear that.
yes,
Oh, okay, thank you. All right, I'm Wayne Miller, board member.
Amy Rivera, board member.
Ted Agus, board member.
Matthew Webster, Board Counsel.
I'm Matthew Wojcik, LNI Supervisor.
Philip Motto, Boards Administration.
Bill, could you read that into the record, please?
Yeah, this is MI 2022-005-997 for the property 2912 South 13th Street.
Okay, Tom, could you tell us a little bit about the property?
What you have is a corner property at the address of 2912 South 13th Street that has been declared as unsafe by the department for conditions of the side masonry wall and a retaining wall as well. I'm going to share my screen and show photos of the property. The appellant's representation sent a engineering report that was dated in 2022 to the department yesterday. And the date of the report is December 15th of 2022. It details a large series of repairs that need to be done to this property to make the property safe. And with that said, I'd be asking for a variance from the board that a permit be issued for the repair of the property within 90 days.
Okay. Who's going to be, Richard, are you going to start out with
Sure,
oh, you're
Yes,
going to show
please.
us your package, Tom? Excuse me, Richard, for a second.
sure.
Okay, let's see your package.
Can everybody see my screen?
Yes, we can.
Yes.
Okay.
So this is the appeal paperwork for 2912 South 13th Street. In the interest of time, I'll just go right to the photographs. As they illustrate the concerns of the property. They're a little blurry. Unfortunately, they must have pixelated it when the packet was being put together. So I will go right over to the engineering report, as that did have photographs of the same subject property.
Tom, were your photographs more recent?
Actually, my photographs do go through the property and do show the conditions of the property. There we go. So I have photographs from July of 2024 in the packet. I'll spin them so you can see them. So this is a photograph of the front of the property taken August 7th of 2024. And this is along the side wall, August 7th of 2024. This is the small retaining wall that holds the porch or the patio. And then you have the side load-bearing wall of the side of the property.
Okay.
You can see this is a photograph taken of the side of the property. The parapet wall shows signs of movement. That is August 7th of 2024. These are photographs of the front of the property taken in September of 2024. Another vantage point taken in September. And then that's of the rear of the property facing the driveway or the side wall as well. And then, as I previously mentioned, there is a engineering report that was provided to the department. That engineering report details a series of repairs, including star bolts and helical ties and piers and a lot of work that needs to be done to this property to make it safe. And that's why I'm petitioning to ask the board to grant 90 days to get a permit.
Okay.
With that, I'll rest.
Okay. Richard, you want to tell us
Yeah.
what you think about this?
Yeah, so this is probably one of your more unique cases that you're going to see. The engineering report that Mr. Robakowski cited is our report that made a determination. I'll put it up on the screen. And forgive me for sending it yesterday. I wasn't, Lori and I miscommunicated. I wasn't sure whether I was going to be representing her today, but obviously I am. So I didn't mean to send that late. But I'm going to go ahead and put that on my screen. especially for the analysis that the engineer did, which is as follows. And then I'll get to the photos that we have. The issues with Miss Velasco's property are due to a break in a stormwater connection between a manhole and the inlet at the front of her sidewalk on a private driveway, which is not physically part of her property. So Miss Velasco is a third party who had nothing to do with the issue that is causing the problem. She has been trying for years to get her neighbors together to try to get it done or to get the city to do the repair. And obviously, to this point, she's been unsuccessful. She's still working on it. And she's been lobbying city officials. She's been lobbying the water department. She's been lobbying her neighbors, and nothing has happened. She cannot fix her house without resolving the issue on the side private driveway that is the source of the groundwater problem that is causing the shifting of her property. I researched this a couple years ago. I sent letters to her neighbors, and we still don't have any resolution from them or some of the city departments that are involved. So you can see it here. I jumped right to the forensics analysis. Ms. Velasco did have a different engineer run a camera through the manhole to the inlet, and there's a lack of a connection. So the water is leaking out into beneath that driveway, causing the issue. And you see the engineer came to that exact conclusion.
I'm on a Zoom, bro.
Oh, you better mute.
Who's talking?
All right, so you see number C here, the pipe break caused severe heaving that led to the severe differential settlement causing the structural bowing at the north walls. Of course, this is referring to Miss Velasco's property.
Sorry, Rich, just, can you clarify, is this
Yeah.
part of the engineer's report from 2022? Or what
Yes.
are we looking at here?
Yes,
Okay, thanks.
yes. Let me get to the pictures because I'm visual. I imagine you want to see exactly what we're talking about. And the pictures really do. And just so you know, this is his conclusion within a reasonable degree of certainty that the issues with Miss Velasco's property are caused by the leaking of the pipe that's in the side driveway. All right, so that's our suspect manhole right here. You can see all the cracking. This runs to the sewer inlet, and I'll scan down here. You see all the cracking. There's cracking here. Let me get right to the inlet. I'm sorry, this is Miss Velasco's property, obviously, right here. More cracking. Bear with me here. There's bowing. Oh, let me jump to that. I want you to see the inlet before I get to what we're suggesting here. This is her Mrs. Velasco's porch is being impacted. I just want you to see that inlet. So this is this is her property. This is the driveway. This driveway feeds into another driveway that runs behind Miss Velasco's property. So there's a number of other property owners that are impacted by this, and there is just a complete failure, not just from the city, but from the private owners of the other properties to deal with an issue.
It has nothing to do with the city. It's a private driveway.
Yo,
please
who
don't
else was
interrupt me.
talking?
Yeah.
Oh,
Thank you.
okay.
That's what I was going to say. There's the inlet. So
Call it the culvert?
So the engineer's report, obviously blames the underneath the water line between the manhole and this inlet. And there's the front of the house. So here's the problem. Mrs. Velasco is not at fault for the causation of the problem. She actually does not own that land. Believe it or not, that land was never transferred by the original developer back in the 1950s. Her deed's legal description, what she does own is a portion of the driveway behind her house. But this property is actually out of ownership. But these properties here along Geary Street, these are the Geary Street properties.
Bigler.
They
Bigler.
own to, I'm sorry, Bigler. They own to the middle, okay? But there's still, believe it or not, Mrs. Velasco does not own this. Now, she has rights to it, but the source of the problem is here. Mrs. Velasco cannot repair her property without fixing the underlying issue, which is 6 figures worth of repairs, which she obviously does not have. She's unable to deal with the fix without fixing the issue under the driveway. So there's an element of unfairness with trying to tag Mrs. Velasco with an extreme amount of fines. And what the city has done in these cases is be very punitive and unfair. They basically calculate that $2,000 fine. Let me go to the violation real quick. And this isn't Mr. Rybakowski's fault, but this is what the law department will ultimately do in this case. So I want to be very clear about what will happen if she is ordered to make these repairs. You see this fine here of $2,000 per day. So guess what? You take that fine per day and calculate it out for the length of time that the violation has been pending, you're at about $3 million, which is absurd. Absolutely absurd. And they will sue her eventually and bring a case and demand that she pay $3 million worth of fines, which obviously is an absurd and ludicrous number. But they've done it. I've seen it happen. I've represented a number of cases where these individuals, the city sues their own constituents, assesses these absurdly outrageous fines, brings a legal case, and Ms. Velasco will have to hire me to defend her in the case and fight the fines. So that's obviously why I had to file this appeal. I certainly don't dispute that her property needs to be repaired, neither does she. The issue is she can't fix it without cooperation from third parties over which she has no control. The city has turned away from it, she's lobbied her politicians, she's lobbied, and Louis, I'm going to ask Louis to make a comment in a little while. The current administration has been helpful. I don't want to bash the city completely.
Right.
We have been in touch with the councilman about this. The obvious solution is to get some help from the city, because otherwise this is a potential catastrophe in waiting to happen. Some people have been helpful, some people not so much. The water department has not been helpful. And I know Mr. Rybakowski will say it's private property. I don't disagree that it's private property, but there's infrastructure of the city beneath it that is causing the issue. There were past discussions with the water department about contributing funding to make this repair, and it hasn't happened. Obviously, there's one party here that has the resources to deal with it, and that's the city of Philadelphia. We've been trying for a long time to get it resolved, nothing yet. So let me get to the bottom line here. I certainly can't sit here and tell you, members of this board, that the property doesn't need to be repaired. It does. The problem is the consequences of being too strict and draconian on Mrs. Velasco, who was probably the only innocent person in this room, is catastrophic to her. If she has exposure to fines of $3 million, this will never get done. The property will ultimately have a catastrophe, and she's sitting basically on a powder keg. She can't afford the repairs that are necessary. There are massive amount of work that needs to be done. That $110,000 assessment by our engineer, let me go to that page real quick. It's more than that now. And obviously we would love to have given you an updated report, but Ms. Velasco doesn't have the money to pay another engineer to come and update what we already know to be the case. But he basically, the Kiro engineer basically estimated, there it is, 110,000 plus or minus. It's more than that now because those are prices that are 2.5 years old. So here's what
Tom?
yeah.
I have a question for Tom. Tom, is this an issue with is there an issue with the water department and with the culvert coming in where it's not connected and the water undermines the house?
So in the department's standpoint, I was going to respond to Mr. DeMarco's opening remarks and ask if I could respond. All of Mr. DeMarco's remarks are all well and good, but they're not jurisdiction for the board. The board is to render its decision, and by Mr. DeMarco's own statement, yes, the property needs to be repaired. Yes, the property is unsafe. The variance of time is what the board renders. As far as fines, that's not a jurisdictional for the board. That's something that needs to be solved by the Court of Common Pleas.
Yeah, Tom, I'm not talking about fines. I'm just asking you, is the issue that they're bringing up about the intake pipe is broken or whatever underneath the ground?
Yeah.
And it's causing this? If they did fix this, and didn't fix the driveway, would it happen again?
I don't know.
May I speak?
Sure.
Go
Okay.
ahead,
You
Laurie.
can.
So let's go back to 2008, when the sidewalk in the front of my house was cracked. My insurance company asked me to fix it. That's when everything came to light for me, because it was undermined. So one contractor after another said, we can fix it, but it's just going to happen again. So the city, the water department came out, performed a dye test. It came back on the water department. The next day, they ripped up my sidewalk and then put a new one. Now, if you look at my sidewalk today, it's all cracked again. So they originally took some, it was, I'm
They
sorry.
Put some fill in there. Don't get.
I'm
They
extreme-
did they
I'm
put
extreme-
some fill in there, then.
No. Oh, no, they ripped up the whole sidewalk.
Okay.
They ripped up the whole sidewalk, didn't ask me if I wanted to replace any of the pipes that I own or whatever, and put a new sidewalk down. And it was only a Band-Aid. And so then in 2010, Debbie McCarthy sent me a letter saying, from the water department, saying that they would come together and fix everything and bill all the abutting owners. That was in 2010. So
Yeah, let me jump
the
in
only
real
thing
quick, Lori.
the only thing I can answer is yes, it's unless the underlying problem is fixed, it's just going to keep happening or happen again. Or
Let me jump in real quick, Lori.
go ahead. I'm sorry.
There's a state law that allows the local governing authority, in this case, city council, to introduce legislation to assess the entirety of the people that abut the driveway for the repairs and assess each of them individually. But there's a political issue there. Some of the owners don't have an issue, whereas Lori and her neighbors have an issue. So we have a political issue because while the city could assess the properties, do the repairs, people are going to get their taxes raised. So there's a political problem holding up what really should happen, which is that that's what should happen. Everybody should be assessed. They should do the repair and get it done. So in light of that, since that's not happening, well, and again, I agree that this is not the board's decision to make, but it reflects upon this board, because if there's a 90-day period for her to make the repairs, it's just not going to happen, and then she's going to get sued for $3 million from the city when the issue is really not her fault. So here's my suggestion. Let me get right to the point.
Yeah, sure.
I would like to give Lori more time. Mr. May, I'd like you to hear from Mr. May briefly. She is in touch with the Parker administration. There's been some good conversations. I don't want to say that it's necessarily going to result in a resolution of this and the work can get done. I just don't know that. But my suggestion is to have a hearing and I know this is a long time, but this is like, if you could see how long this has taken this far, give us 6 months to try to get something done with the administration. We'll come back and update you. And then maybe then the board can render a decision on a
Here-
time frame to make the repairs.
Richard, what we can do, we can't render any decision with who's at fault or who has a problem. We got to render the decision on the problem that is facing us. And when we render our decision and you don't like the decision that we render, you can certainly go to the Court of Common Pleas. I think that's where it's going to end up probably anyway, to get this squared away. And we don't have the authority to make anybody do anything. All we have the authority is that whatever the violation is, we can only rule on that. We can't rule on anything else.
Can I say something, please?
Sure, you certainly can.
Okay, so in 2015, the city sent a structural engineer. That report was also basically the same as the report that I got. The same conclusion was that nothing can be fixed unless the driveway is fixed. And the city ordered that report. Mrs. Cecilia Kenny from Risk Management. She ordered that report and an engineer came out, and I don't think we have that here, but it said the same thing in 2015. You can't,
And let me
I can't
say
fix
this
it.
as well. Lori, let me jump in for a minute. So Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
let me be fully transparent about this. Lori is obviously struggling. She doesn't have a ton of resources. I wasn't sure I was going to be able to represent her today. If you're going to make a decision, would you hold the record open 2 weeks and allow me to put some documents into the record? I rushed to get you the engineering report yesterday. If you could just hold the record open, I'd say for maybe 2 weeks, I'll put some there's other documentation I think you might be interested in, namely some of her correspondence with the water department in the past. I'd like to show you the state law that's involved. I understand your point. Obviously there's tangential issues with this, because of the fines. I mean, if Mrs. Velasco was not subject to such extreme fines, and that's on the violation itself, I would argue the violation is in error, because I think the fines are extreme and punitive, right? If you let me hold the record open, I'll supplement the record, because if I do have to take an appeal, I would appreciate that. Also, I would say if you're going to give a time frame, give Ms. Velasco the longest time frame as possible as well, in light of the issues whereby she can't do the repairs physically because they will recur. So she can't repair her home without addressing a property that does not belong to her, that she has no control over. So she's in quite a quandary. And since this is a violation that carries with it legal consequences for her, right? Give her at least the time that she needs. I'd say a year, but I understand that's, well, I don't know how
Okay.
you feel about it.
Richard, let us caucus for a minute. We'll
Very well.
be right
Thank
back.
you.
Just hold.
Actually,
Oh,
question.
Lewis May
hold
does
on,
want to
John.
speak.
John.
Let Lewis May speak as well at some point, if you would. I would appreciate it.
Before we caucus, Tom,
Start with-
question. In terms of the condition of the building and the level of risk, I know it's not imminently dangerous. It is an unsafe condition. Do you feel that you've recommended 90 days in terms of, the request for, twice as much as that? Does that pose any additional risk from your standpoint? in terms of the conditions?
So the property's been declared as unsafe. It's been relatively in the same condition since the violation has been written. There may be a little bit more cracking or a little bit more fracturing that's occurred out on location, but I mean, the violation's been active since 2022.
So it's not progressing rapidly or anything like that? Thanks.
Not that we've seen, but unsafe properties can change at any given moment.
Okay, Tom. All right, we're gonna caucus. We'll be back in. Back on our record?
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right, Richard, what we're looking to do is we're gonna give you 6 months to get this resolved. And Tom wants 3, you want a year. We're gonna do 6 months. And then if you come back, again, you know, if it's not resolved, and you have to come back again, we're gonna have to rule on the issue at hand, not all the other ancillary stuff on the side. And, you know, hopefully that we can get this squared away within that time with whatever you have to do. And you have 6 months to get the permit or whatever to get rolling, okay?
So I'm clear what you're ruling. So you're going to decide the case today, or you're going to
We're going to
issue
extend
a
the
decision
time.
in 6 months?
We're going to extend the time from, the city wants 3 months before you start working on the project to get it done. We're going to extend it to 6 months to see what you can come up with and, you know, to get the permits to start the work.
All right, can you allow me to send you some documents so I can, can you not close your record and keep your record open for 2 weeks? I'll put some
We
documents.
can't keep our record, we can't keep it open. That's the issue.
All right,
We can't
well then
keep-
let me make sure Louis May can speak. He's one of our witnesses today. He didn't.
Okay,
he didn't
yep,
get a
okay,
chance.
and then go ahead.
So Louis, you still with us?
Yes, I'm here.
Go ahead, Louis.
Can you
Yes.
go ahead and explain what you've been doing with Mrs. Velasco?
Yes, we met Miss Velasco approximately 6 months ago. She came into our office. I am the second district manager for the mayor's office of neighborhood and community engagement. And she came into our office looking for assistance to help her with what was going on, what was described by Mr. DeMarco. We've been doing that. We've been trying to deal with all the agencies from when she first started her fight approximately 15 years ago, which has lasted to three administrations. So we had to go back and really talk to everybody that has been involved in this situation for that long period of time. And that's what we're continuing to do. I'm working with her every day. We talk pretty regularly about what the progress is. It has reached the managing director's office, of course, as well as the water department, and all of them are involved. And we are trying to see what is the end game with this. What is the consummate of they're saying that this is her property, this is her responsibility. Of course, Ms. Velasco is saying that it's a city responsibility. And that's where the argument is. That's basically where everything stands right now. And we're trying to get through everything to see at the end who's really responsible, and not only just who's responsible, what can we actually do to make everyone happy in this situation, as far as Ms. Velasco being able to keep her house, because as you said, a house can collapse at any minute, not at any minute, but it's a possibility. So we're just trying to make sure we do the due diligence and come to some possible agreement that where the city can help her pay and things like that to what she need done to her property.
Okay, thank you. Thanks for letting us know that. And again, Rich, you have the 6 months to get things rolling and to see if you can get this taken care of pulling your permits. If not, then it would be, I guess it'd be another violation. You'd come back in here, and then we would, if there's not a solution, then we would rule on that you have to fix this, because we can't get involved in everything else, like I said. And then I believe eventually, if it would have to, it'll probably end up in court of common pleas. So we can do two things. We can deny it now if you're not gonna, if you can't do the work, you can't afford to do the work, or we can deny it in 6 months. But the thing is, I say, it's up to you. If you want a chance to think that you're gonna be able to finish up, that's fine. But again, And if you want us to deny it today, if you can't do it, okay, get that, fixed.
We'll take the 6 months of work.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right, okay, and then we'll go from there, all right?
Yeah.
And,
All right.
our hands are tied. We can't do anything else. We can only rule on the situation,
Yeah. I mean,
okay?
No, I know, I'm aware of that.
At the end of the day, we want to see the repairs to the site done as quickly as possible. And once that has been done, we want the repairs to the house, whether they're occasioned by that or not, as quickly as possible. So it really comes down to if this is going to end up in court, you may head that way sooner than the 6 months we're giving you.
Well, that's,
Can
of
I,
course, that's the issue that,
can
Go
I
ahead.
ask another question?
Sure.
If the inlet is the problem, and if she fixes the house, the problem's still going to exist. So if she fixes the house from now before the 6 months and the inlet does never get fixed, she's in a situation that is going to happen all over again.
No, we're not recommending that. We're recommending that the situation be resolved
Okay.
and that, whether
If
it's the
I-
result or the not, that it takes place before the house, is repaired.
Yeah, if the board can put language to that effect, it might be helpful to us. That you want the entirety of the issue resolved. That might be helpful as trying to get people moving on this.
We
Obviously, you'll
can't
do what you
rule-
have, you'll do what you
Can't
want.
tell the city what to do. right?
Well,
No, I mean, for instance, Rich, if it
okay,
were,
I mean,
if there were an engineer's report
Yeah.
that said that all of the problems, the violations with the house
Mhm.
are not caused by this, and that therefore they should be repaired, that's one resolution. We're not saying that's the way it's going to go. But we can't sit here and, deliberate on what's causing what to that
That's not
degree.
our
And if that
issue,
ends
yeah.
up, if it's a court case, there'll be a lot of time and a lot of expertise assigned to it. They'll get resolved. at that
well, let me put one more thing on the record then. So just so I'm clear what my legal argument is. The violation's been issued to Ms. Velasco and no one else. The problem that's causing the unsafe problems with Mrs. Velasco house are on a property that she does not own. And there are third parties that are required to resolve it. So the legal issue, the problem we all have is there's a violation to Ms. Velasco assessing fines against her. So obviously, I'm asking you to dismiss the violation. I understand that if I can be more clear, the violation faults Mrs. Velasco, right? Yet the problem exists outside of her property, what's causing the problem. So you see the issue that we have legally. I guess, we'll take an appeal, we take an appeal, and you'll do what you have to do. But the problem is that these violations lead to lawsuits by the city against Mrs. Velasco, trying to assess fine against her. So obviously, I think you might have more power than you think you have, but you'll do what you think is best. But let me just get that on the record. She's being asked to fix something that she can't fix, and fines are being assessed against her. So there is a real legal issue here. So I want to make sure that's on the record. And
Okay, that's on the
All right.
record. I want what on the record
Excellent.
for us is that we can only rule on what the violation is to us. And the violations to us is the issue with the house, and you have the engineering report and all that stuff. We can't, we don't rule on, who else is a part of that or who's to blame and things like that. The violation comes in front of us and we rule on that. That's why we
Okay,
said, if
I
you can get it
understand.
worked out, you got an extra 6 months. You got 6 months.
I
Okay?
understand. Yep.
All right. Good luck. All right?
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you for your time.
All right. Okay. Next case.
Next
Well-
item on the list, sir, is item number 2, hearing appeal ending 1106-2021 North 19th Street, Hakeem Simmons.
Okay. Is Mr. Simmons here? Is Mr. Simmons here? Is there anyone here for 2021 North 19th Street?
Mr. Miller,
Yeah.
Mr. Simmons listed 1253 North Newkirk Street in their appeal. And notice of this hearing was sent to that same address on 2/24/25.
Okay. All right. So we'll just move on.
I would like this to be listed as denied failure to appear.
What's that, Tom?
I'd like this to be listed as denied failure to appear.
Yeah, why don't we hear the time? Yeah. Yeah, okay. All right. Well, we'll deny it because because they did not show up. Is that fair enough?
We go off the record for 1 second.
Mhm. To add, okay, 2021 North 19th Street, we're denying it because failure to appear, and we will vote on it. I vote in favor of denying it.
I vote to deny.
I vote to deny.
Okay, case done. All right.
If we can call your attention, sir, to item number 3 on the list, hearing appeal ending 4022 for the property 23 North 60th Street. Napoleon Birch is the appellant.
Okay, is Napoleon here? Is Napoleon here? Is anyone here for that case? 23 North 60th Street. Is there anyone here for that case?
Mr. Miller, sir, appellants listed the address of 5306 Pine Street in their appeal. Notice of this hearing was sent to that same address on 2/24/25.
I'm recommended that we deny for failure to appear. I voted in the I vote for it to deny it.
Someone's trying to unmute themselves, I think. That's the one that says Moto G Power. Does anyone see that? I think they're trying to talk, but
Okay.
We sent them a prompt.
I think
Okay.
they've been trying to unmute themselves. Oh,
Hello. Is someone here from 23 North 60th Street? Is Napoleon here?
they just muted again and lost
Okay.
video.
Got video back, but
Okay, I see you. All right. All right, then we'll go along with the case. All right. All right. Are you here for 23 North 60th Street? Mr. Napoleon, or Napoleon?
They're muted. Send them a prompt or whatever. I don't know what's going on.
You have to tap your microphone icon so you can unmute yourself. Just tap it with your finger. Try again. You did it once.
Oh, he's over here. Can you tap the icon? There you go. Can you, speak so I can hear you?
Can you hear me?
I hear you. You're loud and clear. Okay. All right. Are you going to be the only one testifying in this case?
Yes.
All right. You're here for 23 North 60th Street, right?
Yes.
Okay. Can you state your name?
Hello,
Yes. Can you state your name?
I'm Enid Birch.
Is Napoleon Birch there?
He is not able to talk, he's sick.
Okay. Can
Can
you
you-
spell your name, please?
ENID BIRCH.
Okay. All right. Could you please, is it okay to go through with?
Hello,
What is your relationship to Napoleon?
I'm his wife.
And what is your relationship to the property?
It's not, it's a church property. He was the pastor, he's the pastor, but he's sick.
I request a moment to discuss this.
asked Mrs. Birch to see if she could get her husband on the, to say that she can speak for him. And she's going to take a look right now.
Yeah, they want you to say that I can talk for you. Just talk, just talk. Just tell them that I am going to talk for you.
Okay. Tell them to speak. They say yes.
Can you hear it?
Yes.
Yes, okay. All right, we'll go on with the case, okay? All right,
Okay.
so, Ms. Birch, you're gonna be the witness in the case. Is there anyone else going to be the witness for you or anyone else going to be testifying?
Yes,
And who is that?
he's right here.
Who is that?
Hold, tell him your name.
Winston. My name is Winston Dubois.
Winston DeVoe, you're going to be testifying too, okay.
Yes.
Can you spell that, Winston?
Winston Dubar.
Okay. All right, Winston, can you please raise your right hand, swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Okay. Mrs. Birch, are you going to be speaking too?
Yes.
Yes, depend.
Okay. Can you please raise your right hand, swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth?
So help me God.
Okay, yeah, good. Tom, can you please raise your right hand, swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Oh,
Okay, that's the person from the city, okay?
oh, okay.
Okay, my name's Wayne Miller, board member.
Amy Rivera, board member.
Ted Agus, board member.
Matthew Webster, Board Counsel.
Matthew Wojcik, LNI supervisor.
Philip Motto, Boards Administration.
No.
Okay, Phil, could you read that into the record, please?
Yes, sir. This is MI 2022-004-022, 23 North 60th Street, Napoleon Birch.
Okay, Tom, can you tell us a little bit about this, project?
Before we go any further, I mean, it's for the property at 23 North 60th Street. But the registered owner is United Methodist Missionary Baptist Church, not the appellant, Napoleon Birch, or the representatives that are on the hearing today. I don't know if the appellant or Enid Birch or the witness have standing to represent the church in the entirety. So I'm gonna raise that as a preliminary issue before we get to the merits of the case.
Yes, we are the associate pastors in the church.
They may be the pastors, but is there documentation that they are able to act for the church in that capacity? And may they need legal representation for this proceeding? I don't know. I'm going to leave that out to the board's counsel.
Okay. We're going to continue to, oh, I'm sorry. What we're going to do here is we're going to continue the case because we don't know if you guys don't have standing. We need something from the church giving you the ability to talk for them, or if they
Okay.
have the ability to have a lawyer. But again, you guys don't have any standing because you're not the church. And so we need that within it. Well, we'll have the next hearing in 2 weeks, and then you can come back for that. A
Okay.
letter would be fine from the church, whoever takes care of the church, the pastor or the bishop
Yes.
or whatever. So we're going to continue it to the next hearing.
Just may I say something?
Sure, you certainly can.
Just when that notice was put out, they had somebody to go up and fix that place. So it's surprising to hear that the problem is still there.
Okay, the problem's still there, so you'll come back in 2 weeks. That someone giving you guys the authority to talk for them. We'd need a letter, or if the church wanted to send someone, a lawyer, we'd need a letter from him that saying the church is authorizing him to speak on their behalf.
So where would We're not, where would that person go with that letter?
They will send it.
What's that, Phil? They can mail it into the board?
You can email that right in to boards admin. It's one word, BOARDSADMIN @phila.gov.
Great, great.
Well, we'll see what happens because this whole thing is,
There's nothing to get excited about, okay? Just
Huh?
get the authorization. Don't get upset over this. Just get the
Mhm.
authorization and come back at the next hearing and we'll address it. You just need the authority from the church to give you the ability to speak for them, or if they want to send their lawyer who they're giving a letter to is speaking on their behalf.
so what happened to,
Pass.
the pastor who just spoke, who said we could talk for them?
You don't have any standing, you don't own, you're not the head of the church. What's it?
He is the head, and somebody, just when we started, you asked that he gave us the authority to speak for
But
him.
he is not, he doesn't control the church. Your husband, he's not, what is it, the Lutheran Church? Is that what it is?
But he's the founder of that church.
Do you have letterheads or you have a letter
Yeah.
with his name on it saying that he's the head of the church? Because we can't make a ruling if you're not the person that has the authority.
Is he the owner of the property?
No.
The
He,
church is the owner. The
it
church
is
is the owner.
The church's name on the deed?
Well, this is 2 weeks.
It's the organization.
Okay,
All right, we'll,
we'll wait for the letter.
so we'll just mail in a letterhead or something, you say, with a letter?
You need someone that's the head of the church or the board of directors from the church giving you guys the authority to speak on their behalf.
If not, then what happens? If so,
And
check.
all right, we'll see what happens.
Okay, all right, good luck and just mail that in and we'll get you on the next hearing, all right?
Okay, I'll try.
I know you tried. I know, no problem. All right, thank you.
Thank you too.
All right.
Okay. Oh, let me take off the. Oh, Lord.
Yeah.
Number 4, sir. Calling your attention to item number 4 on the list, MI 2025-001-068, 903 Greenwich Street. Right up. Okay. Is there anyone from 903 Greenwich Street? Oh.
Okay. Hi. No, also my husband, he's on the Zooms. He wasn't able to attend in person. Juan Lua right there.
He's waving to us.
He's.
I'm on babysitter duty.
Mr. Miller, you're on mute.
Sorry. Could you please state your name and raise your right hand and,
Lua?
okay? All right, could you please raise your right hand, swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth?
I swear to tell the truth and the whole truth, nothing but the truth.
Okay, and ma'am, could you state your name and raise your right hand?
Yes, Diana Brown.
Okay, could you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth?
I do.
Okay.
Could I have her spell her name, please?
Oh, Diana, Diana, Brown, Browne.
Okay, and you have the husband's name, John?
Yes, sir.
Okay, fine. I'm Wayne Miller, board member.
Amy Rivera, board member.
Ed August, board member.
Matthew Webster, Board Counsel.
I'm Matthew Wojcicki, and I supervisor.
Philip Motto, Boards Administration.
Okay, Phil, read it into the record, please.
Yes, sir. This is MI 2025-001-068 for 903 Greenwich Street.
Okay, Tom, please raise your right hand. Swear to tell the truth, whole truth, nothing but the truth.
Yes.
Okay, tell us a little bit about the project.
So what we have is we have the property at 903 Greenwich has been declared as unsafe due to conditions of the front wall of the property. I do say that there was a permit that was entered into our system, but it was never issued in that there was items that needed to be addressed. With that said, I'd be asking for a variance be granted for the appellant to be able to obtain a permit within 90 days. With that, I'll share my screen so you can see the photos of the subject property.
Okay.
Everybody see my screen?
Yes, we can.
So this is the front of the property at 903 Greenwich when the property was posted. Posting was January 4th of 2023. This is a photograph of the posting. This is a photograph of the front of the property with the poster or with posting affixed to the property. I'll rotate the screen. This is another photograph taken of the property. And then another vantage point of the front of the property. Another vantage point taken March 3rd of 2023. Another photograph. These are more photographs taken in May, and they still illustrate the frontage. Same thing. And then trying to get a vantage point so that you can see that the bulge is still present at the property. That's August 12th of 2024. Pretty much the same vantage point all the way through the photos. They go to October of 2024 as well in the packet. And then there's more that were taken later on under a more recent inspection. But with that was said, I do show that a permit was entered into the system that shows that the owner is aware of the violation. And in presence of that, we would be asking for a permit to be under review and in the system and eventually issued within the next 90 days.
All right. Who's going to present the case? Yourself or your husband or both of you?
Yeah, I think both of us.
May I speak?
Sure.
Can you guys hear me? Oh,
Yes,
you
we
just
hear you.
responded. So yes, that is correct. We tried to submit the permit, so we hired a contractor. We had the engineering drawings for the star bolts. I can pull that up for what it would take to address the issues with the property. The contractor wasn't able to get the permit approved. There were some requirements for some that services from a licensed professional engineer, which our assumption was that, can you guys see my screen?
Yes.
Yes.
Our assumption was that, this was the what was required from the engineer in order to perform the work for the star bolts. He wasn't able to obtain a permit. What we would like to ask is, if there's some guidance as to what we need to do here to get this approved so that we can perform the work, that would be extremely helpful. I know you said 90 days. Would it be possible to get an extension until the end of July for this?
Tom, can I ask, do you know why this drawing would not have been acceptable?
I did not do the plan review, so I do not know the answer.
Does it have anything to do with the licensed contractor?
Contractor is licensed. The contractor is licensed.
I know he might be a licensed engineer, but in the city of Philadelphia, you need a contractor that's licensed with the city to do the work. Is that the case? I don't know. I'm just thinking that out loud,
Wayne.
that might be the case.
Wayne,
Yes.
hi,
Yeah, Matt, what's up?
the contractor did have a, the contractor does have a license. They just need to renew it. It expired like 2 days ago. So they just need to do their annual renewing.
At the time of submitting this, though, their license was active.
Yes, yeah, it was. I'm just saying like Wayne, the issue is not the license. Matthew, weird question. Can I go into caucus with the board to talk off the record real quick?
I'm afraid I have to recommend against that.
Damn, sorry.
I'm sorry.
Sorry, it's just that I see the
parte-
letter that was sent and
You can
uh
share the letter to the board in front of the, if you're able, you could share the letter to the board in front of the appellant so that it isn't ex parte communication.
okay. Just I don't know if I'm allowed to speak about examiners.
That's fair.
Yeah,
I'm not
that's
sure
why I don't want to. I'm not sure.
Okay, so, he has a contractor who's a licensed contractor that's doing the engineering.
Well,
And-
kind of.
Well, his license expired 2 days ago, but when he put in for the
Submitted,
permit,
it was
he was
fine.
licensed. Am I right or wrong?
Yeah, yes,
Okay.
there's a license when this was submitted like what, like 2 years ago?
Yeah, it was right after
That was
I,
like 2 days ago.
yeah, so we
Yeah, was that the plan that the expediter submitted, like that exact one?
yes, this would have been the plan that I provided to them.
If it wasn't on paper, I could have at least like proven that, but if it's on paper 2 years ago, that is expired, make safe permit, that's long since discarded, I imagine.
Can it be submitted?
Because they gave
digital
me
form?
physical copies. They gave me physical
Yeah.
copies to submit that were stamped. So I gave him the originals for this.
Right, and we require all make safes to be submitted on paper anyway, generally.
And I was concerned that I hadn't had an appeal. So I even at some point I had emailed the person that was helping me with the appeal and I asked her, hey, should I be concerned? I haven't received anything. And she mentioned that there was a big backlog. So just to wait patiently. So then, we're here now today.
Right, this was originally reviewed like 2 years ago, almost to the day. My main thing is so that was sent out, it was reviewed April 5th, expired by the next December because no one had heard anything. The expediter, so you as the owner, I don't believe would have heard anything from us. It
No,
would have been the
they did not.
expediter.
They received,
So
I
they
guess
received that letter,
this
okay.
letter here, and
Yeah.
they weren't sure what to do. Like we weren't sure what else we needed. And there were some emails that got sent to this person, but they just never really heard back.
Do
It
you
was just-
does the expediter have those emails?
I may have been in copy on some of them. Where they had reached out.
Hmm.
Matthew, can they just resubmit everything?
Yeah, they could.
Okay.
Yeah, they can just resubmit like. This looks, the only thing that would actually need to, and I don't even know, like I can't, obviously, this is on paper originally, I can't tell what was submitted originally, but like. If you had the special inspections documents, well, the expediter would have had all that stuff. If Ida had all that originally and submitted all that originally, the only thing I think that may have not been submitted yet was the special inspections paperwork based on the comments, which is
that?
comment
You shouldn't
number
need special
2.
inspections for Star Bolts.
Oh, it's the Star Bolts?
Don't
Yeah,
need-
then no.
yeah, you don't need special-
Sorry, I didn't see that. Yeah,
It
Star
looks
Bolts
like
are,
it was a comment, but I don't think they're needed.
yeah.
So I'm going to represent to the board that I'd be willing to push this to a final date of September 1st. for a permit to be issued for the repair. And if they submit the documentation to the department, and do all that, then then a permit shouldn't be a problem on getting it issued and facilitating the repairs to this property.
From my part, I just need to go back to my contractor and have them resubmit the same paperwork we did originally. There's
Yes.
nothing additional.
I mean, based off that plan, and it's like just star bolts and some other
Yes.
miscellaneous work.
Are
That looked fine to me.
they going to have it updated since it's misdated, not 2025?
We don't really like worry about that so much. Like if, I mean, the date on the what, the plan?
So my representation is that the board please put that into their ruling.
That will accept drawings dated 2023?
Yeah.
What it was, 2023?
I mean, that's when it was drawn, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And if there's no change to the recommendation and no change to what they were gonna do, then whenever it's dated, it's dated.
And will I need to get another original copy that's stamped, or can I print this and submit it?
If it's on the original sheet size, which I don't know if you'd have to go like a Staples or Kinko's or whatever to go get it printed out at the original sheet size. Because for make
So,
safes,
like, is that D size?
I can't really tell from here.
Yeah, we can't tell what would make that drawing to scale, but it needs to be at least 18 by 24.
Can be 24.
If you open up in like Adobe Reader and you look at the properties of the file, then it'll tell you what the programmed sheet size is in there. I don't think you can do it in like a browser, unfortunately. If you just open up in like a desktop PDF reader, you can find out how big the sheet is or supposed to be.
I can take that's not a problem. I can take that on.
Alright.
And then as far as the fines, because I know this has been accruing fines, what would happen if we can get this resolved before the September 1st date? Do those fines are still incurred or do they drop off?
So I can answer that. The fines, unlike the last hearing, or like the last hearing, it was a little bit of a misrepresentation by the department. The only time that the department will ask for fines is if we get in front of a Court of Common Pleas case. And that's when the city solicitor will calculate back to when the fine was, or when the case was originally written against the property. So that's when a fine would be assessed against the property owner. In this case, it's just an appeals board, so there are no fines assessed. There may be reinspection fees associated to that, to this property. Let me see here. So there are reinspection fees. And they do have a good amount of total on them. That's $2,050. But that can be communicated through the department and the appellant today. If he contacts me, then we can discuss those.
So I contact you directly?
Contact me directly.
All right, let me just write your name real quick so I don't forget.
Tom, can I just ask why on Atlas it says that the violations were all complied?
On Atlas?
Yes.
Let me check this.
They shouldn't.
Let me see here.
Oh, wait, I'm sorry. No, they say open.
Okay,
Yeah, never mind.
alright. So we all set, Tom?
Yeah, so the appellant can contact me directly. My office number is 215.
We have an open appeal before the board. It has to be disposed of in some way. We Okay, is the appellant agreeing to withdraw their appeal?
No, we're giving them until September 1st.
Oh, I'm sorry.
First, yes, they have until September 1st. They get it done sooner.
So we're making a decision.
Okay. They got this December 1st to have a permit and get it done.
When you're very quiet.
Oh.
Thank you. I was just about to ask.
All right, they have till September 1st to get a permit, then continue to work and finish it up with the Star Vaults.
Is there anything
My number is 215-686-2583.
686
And just ask,
Thank you,
just ask for Tom.
Tom. Thank you. Is there anything my wife needs to do while she's there in person or to help with the process?
I don't know, no. You want to do anything?
I'm just making sure. Just making sure. I was worried I may have.
Drawings.
I was worried I was gonna have technical difficulties today. That's why she's there
He's
in
like
person
prepped
too.
all the notes. I was like, I need more information. I do not feel prepared. Yeah.
We appreciate your guys' time there. Thank you, everyone.
No problem. Good luck, all right?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Mhm. You too.
Okay, next case.
We can call your attention, sir, to item number 5 on today's list. That's hearing appeal MI 2025-001-176-2917 through 2919 North Broad Street, Andrew Miller Esquire.
Okay, Andrew, are you going to be the only one testifying?
Tom
Mr.
might have an
Miller,
update.
Mr. Miller is not present as this matter is complied in our system.
Oh, okay. Moot. Is that right, Ted? Moot? Okay, we agree to that, Aim, Ted, and I also
Yes.
agree. All right, so do we have to read that into the record?
I think we just did.
Okay, good deal. All right, way to go, Phil. You're a step ahead of me, mister. All right, what else we got here?
That's item number 6 on the first item on the second page.
Okay,
That's hearing appeal MI 2025-001-178-4926 Olive Street. Abdul Halami is the appellant.
is Abdul here?
He's on the call, sir.
Oh, he's on the call? All right.
He dropped off the call. He was there and just left the call, sir.
Okay. Abdul, where you at?
No, he's not
He's
with us.
not
He is-
on the call.
Yeah.
Okay, he might call back, okay? Let's move on to the next one.
Yes, sir. We're gonna call your attention to item 7 on the list. That's MI 2025-001-180-1417 South Ringgold Street, Desmond Jones.
Okay, is there anybody here from Ringgold Street, Mr. Jones? Mr. Jones? Oh, there's Abdul. Abdul's
How you
back.
doing?
You're back with us, Abdul.
Yeah.
We'll go with you
Okay.
right now, and then we'll go to the next one.
Okay, thank you.
All right, Abdul, could you, you're going to be the only one testifying today?
Yes.
Okay, could you please raise your right hand, swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth?
Yeah, I do.
Okay, Tom, could you please raise your right hand, swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Okay, I'm Wayne Miller, board member.
Amy Rivera, board member.
Ted Agus, board member.
Matthew Webster, Board Counsel.
I'm Matthew Wochigo, and I supervisor.
Philip Motto, Boards Administration.
Okay, so Phil, you read it into the record?
Yes, sir.
Okay, Tom, could you tell us a little bit about this case?
What we have is the property at 4926 Olive Street has been declared unsafe by the department for conditions of the rear bay of the property. At the conclusion, I will be sharing my packet showing photographs of the property. At the conclusion, I will ask the board to grant a variance for the applicant or the appellant to obtain a permit for the repair of the property within 90 days. With that said, I'll share my screen.
Okay, Tom, share your screen.
This is the posting of the property. Can everybody see my screen?
Yes, we can, Tom.
So this is the property at 4926 Olive Street, the front of the property with the posting. And then this is a photograph of the rear with the rear bay and the deterioration. This is another photograph of the front of the property taken by Inspector Carroll. This was done October 26th of 2024. With that, we would be asking for a permit to be issued for the repair of the property within 90 days.
Okay. Abdul, you want to tell us a little bit of your side of the story?
Yeah, so we had squatters in there and we tried to kick them out and they ended up causing that fire. And then we did board up the front and the back. So I think there's 3 violations. And then the permit to receive the permit and then the actual rear bay. So I don't know how to share the screen. I sent pictures to one of the emails about this. What is it, Deborah and Phil Motto, showing pictures of the front and the back that's boarded up. And so if that could be.
Abdul, when did you send them?
I sent it today, earlier,
Okay.
right before this meeting. The picture of the front is at 1:04 p.m. and the picture at the back is 1:50.
So are you saying you just boarded it up or did you fix the back bay?
No. So there's 3 violations. One is to receive a permit, one is to fix the permit, and the other one is, I believe, vacant property is accessible. So the pictures that I think I just shared on the Zoom, they're showing that the front and back is secured. So if that one could be removed, that violation.
Okay. But the only violation that's in front of the board today is the unsafe designation for the structural damage in relative to the fire and the real bay.
Okay.
That's the crutch of the case today, and that's pretty much what the board is going to be rendering their decision on. And that's what I've represented to the board, that we would be willing to give you 90 days to secure a permit for the repair of that property.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. The rear there was no fire, but yeah, I got you. I'm fine with 90 days.
Abdul, are you good with the 90 days? Did you said yes to get a
Yes.
permit, then start work? Okay, fine.
Yeah.
Okay, that's
Okay.
good.
Thank you.
All
Okay.
right. Anything else?
No, that's it.
All right, Tom, you good with that?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Abdul. Good luck, man.
All right. Take care.
All
Bye.
All right.
That will be item 7, sir. That's MI 2025-001-180, 1417 South Ringgold Street, Desmond Jones.
Excuse me, is Mr. Jones here?
There is no one in the room by that name, sir. Mr. Jones listed 841 Edgewood Avenue, Bensalem, PA in their appeal, and notice of this hearing was sent to that same address on, bear with me, I'm sorry. Sure. 2/25 of this year.
Okay. So, we'll deny this because of, no presence being here. Failure to appear. I'm in favor of that.
I'm in favor as long as Tom doesn't have anything to tell us.
Likewise.
So actually, there would be no action by the board because I'll share my screen, but this property was sold. And Mr. Jones is no longer the owner of the property, and I'll share my screen and show the recorded deed.
All right, Tom. Tom, could you please raise your right hand, swear to tell the truth, whole truth, nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Go ahead, Tom.
Everybody see my screen?
Yes, we can.
This was a deed that was recorded January 21st of 2025, recording that the property at 1417 South Ringgold Street was transferred from Desmond R. Jones to Local PA 26 LLC. So with that, there's no action by the board as Mr. Jones does not have standing on this property any longer.
Okay.
So does the violation get issued to the new owner?
the violation will be issued to the new owner, yes.
Okay,
Okay.
fine. Okay, good deal. Thanks, Tom. Phil, next one?
Yes, sir. Item 8 on today's list, that's MI 2025-001-472 for the property 2020 Tulip Street, Charles Meadows, and Chasdan Investments Incorporated are the appellants.
Okay. Is there anybody here from Tulip Street? Is Chaz here? Charles Meadows? Is Charles Meadows here? Is there anyone from 2020 Tulip Street? Going once? Going twice? Okay,
Mr. Miller, appellants Charles Meadows and Chasdan Investments Incorporated listed 7123 Saul Street, Philadelphia, PA, in their appeal, and notice of this hearing was sent to that same address on 3/10/25.
okay. Tom, do you have anything for us about this project?
No, they make the representation that the repairs have been made, but one of the violations is an out of plumb wall, which would require a detail by the design professional illustrating that that wall is safe. So we would pursue another line of enforcement to spur that compliance.
Okay, so we will deny this because they're not here. Okay, for failure to appear. Anyway, are you good with that?
I agree.
Ted?
I agree.
Okay, and I agree also. All right. Tom,
Thank
we're
you.
finished with you.
With that, may I be excused?
You may be excused.
Thank you. Enjoy the weekend.
See you, Tom. Thanks.
You're welcome.
Right. Is Dimes here?
Yes, he is.
Hey, Dimes, where you at?
Hey, what's up, Wayne? I'm here.
Good, pal. All right. Next case.
That's item number 9 on today's list, MI 2025-001-854 for the property 1215 Wood Street, Meredith Ferliger Esquire is the appellant.
Okay, is Meredith here? Okay, Meredith, are you going to be the only one testifying?
No, sir. I have a representative of Haverford Square by Metropolitan 3 LLC. My representative is German Yakubov. We also have our design professional, Joseph Augustine, is also in the audience.
Okay, are they going to be testifying?
They absolutely will be, yes.
Okay, Jermaine, could
Yep.
you please raise your right hand, swear to tell the truth, right hand, the other hand.
We're off to a great start.
There you go.
Put them both up. You swear to tell the truth, nothing but the truth.
I do so, I swear.
Is Joe there?
Yes, he is.
Hey, Joe, could you please raise your hand, swear to tell the truth, nothing but the truth?
I do,
Okay, that's Joseph Augustine, right?
correct.
That's my favorite name, Augustine.
Thank you.
Okay. All right, so, Mom Wayne Miller, board member?
Amy Rivera, board member.
Ted August, board member.
John Dimes, Fire Code.
Matthew Webster, Board Counsel.
I'm Matthew Ojigo and I supervisor.
Philip Motto, Boards Administration.
Okay, Phil, read that into the record.
Yes, sir. This is MI 2025-001-854-1215 Wood Street.
Okay, whoever's gonna, start the case off, please do.
Sure. So I'm going to have German give you a bit of background, but before I have him take over, I just wanted to show you very quickly some renderings of this building because I think it's just helpful in terms of setting a little bit of early context. So as you can see here, this project proposes a new addition on top of an existing 2-story structure here that historically was used as 6 condominiums, really unique loft-style condominiums. German has some pictures that he's going to show you. But this is ultimately what the proposal is for. It will be 21 total units that, again, are really trying to respect that historical character of the building. The units themselves, new and original, will also maintain that loft style. So I just wanted to give you a sense of the overall rendering before I have German take over, give you a little background, show you some pictures, and explain the challenge that they are facing. So Germ, if you want to share your screen and take over with the background.
Sure. So just to kind of understand what we're trying to ask for here. So we would like to install a trash chute inside one of the exit staircases. So there are 2 exit staircases and an elevator inside this building. We're asking to have a trash chute accessible on 3 floors, floor 3, 4, and 5, to be able to have the tenants on those floors use a trash chute. It's really the only practical place to put that trash chute in. And the main reason is, I'll show you, if we put it anywhere else, it will disrupt the existing units, which are currently there. And they're a bit unique in that, as you can see there, it's an old factory, and the intent was to maintain them as is and just only add an addition onto the top of these. One of our, I guess one of the sticking points for the community was we had a zoning variance for this, is that we wanted to preserve the historic look and feel of the existing building on both the inside and the outside. In addition to that, there are these big steel beams that we would have to navigate around. So I'm going to have Joe Augustine share his screen to give you an idea of the floor plan.
Certainly. Certainly. Okay, can you see my screen?
Yeah, on that right, if you can zoom in on that.
Yes, sure. Okay, so
Where?
okay,
Yeah, so there's currently a garage facing Carlton Street, which is currently open, and part of that garage was also where the neighbors wanted the trash to be taken out from. They wanted to be off of Wood Street. So the only real practical place would be to put it here without the disruption of the existing units. If you go to the floors above, Joe, to show the new addition, if you will. I think this is the existing one. Yep. So the new addition will have 5 units per floor on those 3 additional floors. That's going to be loft style. If we move this trash chute anywhere kind of north, I guess, to be closer to that street to be able to do that, it will make this unit really unusable or impractical, and it will really disrupt and disturb the integrity of the units, the existing units. So we were hoping to get a variance to install this trash chute right in the middle of this stair here. And this trash chute in itself would be within a fire rated wall, in addition to the staircase itself being a fire rated wall. So it would be kind of like a nesting doll of fire rated things. Sorry. So Joe, if you want to kind of show that BIMX to kind of give them an idea of it's way more high tech than I would do, but Joe's pretty good at that. So if we go on the floors above, you'll be able to see the red walls, right, Joe? They're
yeah, I was gonna say, do you want to start with at the ground floor, what's going on right here? Want to take it?
Right. So the exit staircase will maintain its integrity of being an exit staircase without any interruption. And the only access for the trash chute would be from floors 3 to 5, only on the addition pretty much. The existing units will have their existing doors to the outside, and they'll be able to empty out their trash the same way they typically do right now. And once we get up to the other floors, we'll be able to see so as you can see, the trash chute starting on that 3rd floor, that 3rd level. And on the 4th level, and that level in between is kind of like the loft area. So it doesn't have a trash chute because there's no entrance into that part of the stair from the corridor. It's just part of the egress path. So that's kind of the gist of it. And we were open to have any questions or any comments, concerns to see how we could kind of maintain the integrity of those kind of historic loft style units while still giving access to a trash chute for the units above, so they don't have to go down all those stairs to throw out their trash.
On the second and third floor, that's all closed up. There's no any gate or door to throw trash in there. It's only on the-
That's correct.
Correct.
We're not showing that wall in the model. If I go back to the plan, I will show you. So it is a full 2-hour shaft all the way up up to the roof deck level. So it's completely,
So if you go on the second floor, Joe, the existing structure or the existing building, the existing units, I think that was the question, right? Yeah. Yeah. So if you zoom in, there's no access to that stair from the existing units, because they have direct access to the outside.
John, do you have any questions about that?
You looking at me, talking to me, Wayne?
Yeah, John.
Yeah. It's all about, those trash chutes, it's not uncommon where we get trash chute fires. Even with them sprinklered, if there's a fire in there, it's going to produce smoke. And then there's openings within the trash chute, which is within the stairway. So, I'm not thinking it's the best idea. I see their challenge and what they're trying to accomplish, and it's only on 3 floors, the upper floors. Correct. But it's still a possibility that trash chute could have a fire and smoke and get in the stair tower.
If we put an additional door there that would kind of seal that, in addition to the door that's part of the trash chute. Like, in other words, if there's like a door within a ship, like I don't want to say dummy door, but a door that gives you access to the door for the trash chute. Would that help?
I don't like to say I'm not a designer, or I'm not an architect or an engineer. Possibly if it was a self-closing and latching trash chute door with another door on the inside to give it some level, and it was smoke proof. We can go down that route. That's up to the board. But yeah, they're the concerns that I have, is that, it's not uncommon that there are fires. It's not something that, I really like. Is there ways to modify it to make it very safe, like was suggested? Possibly, but I don't know what's out there in the industry to actually makes that work. And that wouldn't be really up my alley, but that's my concern.
Yeah, and just we're trying to solve for yes, right? So we want to kind of see what we could do to mitigate any kind of concerns. If we were to put this in the hallway and there was a fire as well, they would still produce smoke, right? It just wouldn't have the benefit of that additional door.
Yeah, correct. But like I said, I think the concept or the idea behind fire exit stairways, once you get to the fire tower, that's supposed to be your safe way as an egress from that tower out to a public way. So obviously, no matter where you would put it, they're I've seen them just another room in high-rise buildings all the time. It's the trash chute room.
Sure.
So people don't have to go, this is different, obviously. So in the scenario you just gave, that wouldn't be the best circumstance either. But at least if you got to the fire tower, in theory, you should be safe till you get out of the building.
Right. And then,
So if you go to the one of the floors where you would have access to the,
Ted, you're really quiet.
is there room to create that kind of airlock that you're describing?
there is. We would just be able to put a door right in front of that, right, Joe?
yes.
Yep. right there.
Yeah, got it. Okay.
And then we could probably put a sprinkler head right in that little gap between, so if there was,
In the shape, yeah, in the shape
you
itself.
know, it'll add an additional layer of fire safety there.
Yeah, you put it in the shaft itself and you would put it on the 5th floor and then on the 3rd floor.
Correct.
Anybody else have any questions? You okay with it? Aim? If he has that door, yes, we're okay with it if you add the extra door so that it's smoke proof.
When you're really quiet.
Oh, I'm sorry. Would be all right with it if you add the extra door. So the smoke, if there was a fire in the shaft, that it couldn't come out, and put a sprinkler head on the 5th and the 3rd floor.
Maybe.
Okay. And we're good with that.
Okay.
Okay? All right, guys, good luck.
Thank you
So-
very much.
All right.
Wonderful to see you all.
Okay.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you. Bye.
The next one?
The next item, sir, is hearing appeal MI 2025-002-019-2128 Locust Street, Eric Brett Madsen and Miad Aldasori.
Phil, you're
Is
really
Albert- or
quiet.
Albert here? Is anybody here from 2128 Locust Street?
Yeah, I'm here. I work with the Expeditors. I believe Mark, the architect, he'll be the one to present the case.
Yes, I'm also here. Okay, who is, how many people that we have are going to be testifying?
I believe just Mark. I'm gonna go back on mute.
Okay, Mark, if you're going to be testifying, are you a lawyer?
No, I'm an architect.
Okay, then we're going to have to swear you in. Could you please raise your right hand, swear to tell the truth, nothing but the truth?
I do.
Okay. And Mark, can you tell us your last name, please?
Wallace.
Wallace. Okay, good. All right. I'm Wayne Miller, board member.
Mia Rivera, board member.
Ted Agus, board member.
John Dimes, Fire Code.
Matthew Webster, Board Counsel.
I'm Matthew Wojcicki, and I supervisor.
Philip Motto, Boards Administration.
Okay, whoever's going to present the case, please do.
All right, can you guys see my screen?
Yep, certainly can.
Excellent. Okay, so this is 2128 Locust Street. It is an existing 5-story historic building. Really 4.5. The basement is right at 50%. It's like just barely above that to make it classified as a 5-story structure. I think the easiest way to show this would be the our life safety plans. They have them all grouped together on one sheet. If we need to see larger ones, I can either zoom in or switch to the floor plans. So essentially here we have what is, it was an, I believe it was an embassy at one point, and now it is technically a single family home. It's RM1 and our goal is to put 6 residential units in it. Zoning wise, it is as of right. We are not planning any additions outside of pilot houses to access the roof deck. And we have 2 bi-level units at the cellar and 1st floor. And then we have a flat at the 2nd. And then at the 3rd and 4th floor, we have 2 additional bi-level units. So both of those units are entered in at the 3rd floor and not at the 4th floor. And we have, again, bi-level units with their individual roof decks. So our ask here is there's an existing large staircase in the center. It's oversized for what the code would need. We are, it is a 3-story stair tower, so we're rating it currently 1 hour. But we are seeking relief from providing a second means of egress to the 4th floor units.
Can you zoom in on the 4th floor units?
Sure, I'll go in. I'll walk you through the building too. So Locust Street is in front, and then there is a common alley that you can actually drive on in the back. So we have access to right-of-ways on both sides of, well, right-of-way. It's not technically a right-of-way. I believe it's an easement. It's not legally open on the city plan, but it is essentially a street in practice. So the existing main entrance, we have stone stairs to come up, and there's a vestibule that has a landing at the bottom of another set of stairs and a landing at the top that is not large enough to meet code. But again, it is all existing to remain historic, so we would like to keep it as is without having to modify the vestibule. As we come in, all of this is common hallway with no other use. And then we can enter into our front unit that is first floor cellar. We can enter into our rear unit that is first floor cellar. In the existing plan, there was a small staircase that went down to the cellar here that we removed. But we were trying to reuse this hallway for a second means of egress out into our courtyard. This is more for maintenance so that the landlord can come into this space, or landlord, these are for sale condos. So that maintenance people can come into this space without, from the rear, without needing to enter through somebody's unit. So then the basement side of this, we have a utility room in the front that's accessed from this courtyard that discharges out to the right of way in the rear, where we have 1 bedroom, 2 bedroom to that front unit, and then an existing masonry wall and 2 more bedrooms in the rear for the rear unit. As we progress up the common steps, we get to this, we get to the second floor, which is our flats. We have a 1 bedroom flat here. When we have a 2 bedroom flat that points out to the front. Continue up the existing oversized stairs to, third floor, where we enter into our bi-level units at our 3rd floor. 2 bedrooms, 1 bedroom at this floor, 2 more above. No bedrooms at this floor, and that has 2 above as well. Go to that one. Or, I'm sorry, it has 3 bedrooms above. So the upper units are 3 bedroom units. And show the elevation. Again, the historic front is to remain, the historic rear is to remain. Our only ask is we're trying to place the stair in the courtyard to discharge from what is the 1st floor.
I think you skipped over the 4th floor, or the upper or the top floors, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, so I'm sorry, we have it classified, well, technically it's classified as a 5-story building. I'm referring to the 1st floor is that main entrance that we come up to. So while it's a basement, because it is more than 50% below grade, and then we also have this like courtyard that people can discharge into. So when I'm referring to the floors, I guess technically we're 1 floor up on each of them, but practically we have, again, like our 1st floor is just elevated above the street. It is not a full story above the street.
So were you showing the top floor in the
Yes,
last
sir.
set of floor plans? Okay.
Mhm.
Matt, just to clarify, with this designation, I mean, technically are the 2 means of egress required for the top 2 floors?
Yes.
This-
Oh, sorry.
Yes, it would be. So as per the code's definition of a story above grade plane, this is a 5-story building because what's labeled as the 1st floor is 8 feet above the grade plane. Well, specifically was labeled as the basement, has a floor that is 8 foot above grade plane above it. And so therefore what's called the basement counts as a story above grade plane, making this 5 stories.
And how much room is there in your side yard, rear yard, if an exterior stair were to be introduced that would serve the upper 2 floors?
At this wider area, we're almost 9 feet, and we're probably around, let's say 6 and change here. I don't seem to have a dimension on that.
But Yeah, would there be access to that from the front bi-level unit or only? I'm just trying to visualize. Hmm. John, what's your reaction given the historic nature of the building and the bi-level?
I would say also we are making several code improvements to the building. Currently, there's no separations throughout the entire parcel where we will be rating everything an hour in between the units as required, and then we will also be sprinklering the space. It is not currently sprinklered.
But all those things would be required by code
Yeah.
anyhow.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think we've been down this road before. I would stay consistent with my opinion. I mean, one stairway for not only the residents, but also the firefighters, if there was ever a fire in the building. Just to me, there's a reason that the code's written the way the code's written. And to me, again, the limited reasons to give a variance don't apply here. But, so they're my thoughts.
I mean, from a consistency standpoint, what we typically strive to do is allow an exterior, second stair that's closer to the lot lines than is, required by code. Again, a non-combustible stair only required for the floors that need the second, which would be the top two floors.
So if we were to propose an exterior non-combustible fire escape, one that meets the fire escape requirements, to reach those upper units, the upper two units, is that something you would entertain?
Well, yeah,
To
when
make
you
sure
say
both of
fire
them have
escape,
access to it as well.
I think technically it would comply other than the setbacks if it were a fire stair, an exterior fire stair. When you're saying fire escape, are you saying that because of requesting narrower, the kind of
Exactly.
dimensional?
Yeah, I'm a little worried that a full stair with the full landings to switch back to get down that far is going to be difficult to get in this space, and then also be able to egress past it once we get down to that cellar level. But I think if we can do one that meets the fire escape requirements, I believe we can make that happen. I believe we have enough space to connect the upper two units to one to discharge.
So have you explored a way of providing, again, as you're saying, a fire escape with its dimensional requirements? Is that something that you feel that you can provide?
I believe yes.
Okay. You don't happen to have a drawing of it ready to for us to take a look at, but I mean, John, from your standpoint, if there were a fire escape, again, serving the upper floors, but with, less than optimal dimensionally, would you feel comfortable with that?
Yeah, I think that's consistent what you've done in the past. I mean, obviously, say how small is it? I mean, what are you looking at as far as width and things like that? But yeah, I would go along with what's been done in the past.
Yeah, it would absolutely. I think it's in chapter 10. It lays it out that it's I think it's 24 clear walk instead of 36, and I think the landings have to be 30 something and change. But where it would have to be for a true egress enclosure, there'd have to be 36 wide, and that's where we start getting into some trouble where to get past it as we come down it.
Yeah, we would just say make it as big as you can without necessarily meeting the 36.
Right.
All right. Amy, all right with that?
Yes.
Okay, so am I. That is too. So, okay, good luck.
Before we move on, though, there were the handful of other refusals. I just want to make sure that we run through them so everything else was captured.
Okay, go ahead.
One of them was the vestibule issue that I discussed, is essentially that it doesn't meet the landing requirements at the top and bottom of the vestibule. But again, it is an existing historic marble vestibule. We would love to keep it.
We're all right with that.
And then the other one was this path is not 36 wide. Again, it's an existing space that we're using to come out into the rear yard or side court.
And how, what is it?
210 and then 30 when it turns the corner.
Can you show, move up a little bit in that plan? I just want to see the main stair, like how? Is that 2 steps up and then, oh, and then you go into that main enclosed stairwell?
Yeah.
Okay.
We're all right with the 2'10"? Yes, we're all right with that. Okay, with your we're all right with the 2'10" and the 30. All right, what else?
Matthew, do you have the I don't see the refusal.
Yeah, I have it. It was for so we just went over the width and capacity and the stairway landings ones.
Yeah, this is the stairway landing. So we got.
Yeah.
We would,
Oh, I
this is
see
the
what you
space we
mean.
would love to keep.
Wow.
Yeah, so that was the landing issue, and then the one with the 2'10" wide little area there, that was the width and capacity.
Mhm.
And then for the single exit one, it sounds like you're not technically granting that, you're just saying put in a code compliant fire escape.
And that will
Right.
go up to, I guess, technically the 4th floor, but what we're calling the 3rd to collect those 2 units.
It'd be the upper 2 floors.
If those were stair towers, though, I would only be required to provide a stair tower to the unit entry floor.
But I think LNI is regarding this as being the 4th and the 4th and 5th floors in terms of egress requirement. Is that true, Matt?
Oh, what was the question? You're really, really quiet. I
Sorry.
don't know what's going on today.
Okay, it's the question is from your standpoint,
Oh.
you're considering the 4th and 5th floor in terms of the requirement for 2 means of egress. Yeah, everything above the yellow line.
So, but what I'm saying is if there were 2 internal code
I
compliant.
know, but I'm asking Matt for his opinion as an
Yeah.
LNI plans examiner. Thank you.
Yeah. So this is a 5-story building, so this is something the examiner told me. He asked the applicants to revise, but that just didn't happen. Not gonna comment on that any further. But but what's called the basement is what by code would be the 1st story above grade. And then what's labeled as the 1st story, it would be the 2nd story above grade, and so on and so forth. That's that's how the code sees this. And then the roof is just the occupied roof.
Right, but my goal is essentially, so again.
To
I'm
get it
calling
up to there.
4th floor, that's where I would like to take the stair tower to. Because again, if we were to provide 2 means of egress to a bi-level unit on those floors, I would not be required to take that stair up to the 5th floor. I would only be required to service it at the 4th floor, even if this was bi-level. Or I would only need to take the 2 common stairs up to the unit or the space where you can enter the unit. I would not be required to take another stair up.
Right, and the roof decks are on the top level?
Yeah.
And Matt, are those are private roof decks, so they're considered part of the upper level of the bi-level as opposed to requiring egress?
Yeah, as long as they both have private egress and are considered part of the unit.
Yeah, maybe this is a little bit more clear. So
Yeah, that's a little clearer.
This is how the units shake out.
Oh.
Right, and that's the common stair tower here. So my goal is I would love to be able to just take that egress tower to service this floor and not this one. Because again, if it was code compliant, if I had 2 stair towers, I would only be required to bring those 2 stair towers up to this floor.
Okay,
Right, because then those units would have access to 2 exits when they get out of their unit entry door. Right, yeah. Yes, as long as you can get them to a point, yes, as long as those two units have access to
Second means of
two
egress.
exits and
Mhm.
comply with travel distance requirements and all that stuff.
Including from the roof.
Yeah, including the roof decks, yes. If they have access to two exits, once they get out of the unit at your door, then that would be compliant. It's just that like the other exit in this case is a code compliant fire escape, which is allowed by the IBC.
Mhm.
I think here, yeah, okay. Oh, because it's going from a single family to multifamily, so so I think I actually have like another refusal that's supposed to go to board soon that is about this exact point, which is that when going from R3 to R2, it's a change to a higher hazard, meaning the IEBC just says, therefore, means of egress must comply with just chapter 10 of the IBC. It doesn't redirect you or say you can go and comply with anything else in the IEBC. So the use of a fire escape in of itself would need the board to grant a variance
Absolutely.
because there's no fire escapes in the IBC, just the IEBC.
But Matthew, you're in agreement that the fire escape is only gonna have to start at, I'm gonna call it the second to the top level.
Sure.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah,
I
it would
apologize for
have-
the confusion.
Yeah. What is labeled on here as the third
Third
floor,
floor.
because that's where the two bi-level units begin, right?
Correct, correct. So if you wanted to just write the refusal as the fourth story above grade, I think that would probably be the cleanest way to do it, right?
Yeah, because that's how the code views it.
John, you good with that?
Yeah, I'm good with it.
Okay, all right. Aim?
Yes,
Okay, we're good with it.
looks like a beautiful building.
It is gorgeous, and we're trying to save as much of it as we can. So I appreciate your help. You're going a long way.
All right, good luck.
All right, thank you, everyone. Have a great day.
Okay. Okay, that's it. Okay.
Great.
John, you can stop recording.